All right, today we are getting grounded, literally. We're going to dive deep into one of the most critical, yet, often overlooked resources we have, the actual land right beneath our feet. Let's dig in. And look, that's not just some nice-sounding phrase. It's the absolute truth. Everything we do, everything we build, our entire existence, it all starts right here. This is the foundation for our food, our homes, our economies, our whole world. And here's the kicker, the really crucial point. It's limited. Only 29% of the Earth's surface is land. That's it. That's all we get. It's a finite space for, well, a whole lot of us. And as you're about to see, not all of that land is created equal. To really get a feel for this, just take a look at India as an example. The land isn't just one giant flat slab. You've got 43% plains, which are amazing for farming and building cities. But then 30% is mountains, and another 27% is plateaus. Each of these different types has totally different resources and, of course, totally different challenges. So let's go a little deeper into why this resource is just so, well, fundamental. I mean, just think about it for a second. We use land for agriculture to feed ourselves, right? We build our entire industries on it. It provides homes, habitats for countless species. We lay down roads and railways to connect our entire world. And what's underneath it all? That's where we find the minerals and the water we absolutely depend on. This really drives the point home, doesn't it? Land is a finite resource. Now, here's the thing. While it can be renewable, our actions can completely change that. If we mismanage it or dump waste, we can make it basically useless, destroying its value for generations to come. So yeah, careful planning, it's not just a good idea, it's an absolute necessity. Okay, so we've talked about what land does for us, but it's so much more than that. It's a vibrant, living stage for entire ecosystems. The type of soil, the climate, how high up it is, all these things decide what can actually live there. From the driest deserts you can imagine to the lushest, greenest rainforests, it all starts with the land itself. Just look at this contrast. It's amazing. On one side, you have a tropical wet evergreen forest, just drenched in rain, creating this lush world that is just teeming with biodiversity. And on the other, a tropical thorn forest, which has adapted to super dry conditions where plants have figured out how to save every last drop of water. They are two completely different worlds, both built on the very same foundation, land. Okay, but this all brings us to a more serious and frankly more urgent topic. We've seen how valuable our land is. Now we have to look at the very real threats it's facing. And this is the question that really hangs over our entire relationship with the planet. What are the consequences when we mess this up? When we fail to protect this fundamental asset? The answer is stark. It's called land degradation. So what exactly is land degradation? Well, to put it simply, it's any process that makes the land worse. It could be losing that fertile topsoil, poisoning it with chemicals, or just stripping it of its ability to support life. And the causes, well, they're pretty varied. On the one hand, yeah, you've got natural causes. Heavy rains can wash away topsoil, high-speed winds can cause erosion. But then, look at that other column, the human causes. Things like deforestation, overgrazing, and just unchecked urban sprawl, these are happening everywhere, and they're often way more destructive. And if we zoom in on Asia, this data makes it crystal clear. Deforestation is the #1 driver of soil degradation. It's followed by some of our agricultural practices and, of course, industrialization. These aren't random acts of nature. They are the direct results of our choices, and they impact everything from food security to our climate. And the sheer scale of this problem, it is staggering. Every single year, we lose an additional 5 to 7 million hectares of productive farmland. It just vanishes because of degradation. That's a mind-boggling amount of food and resources lost year after year after year. But listen, it's not a hopeless situation. Far from it. We've identified the problem, so let's shift gears and focus on the solutions, the strategies that can lead us to a more sustainable future. The most important thing to remember is that we have the power to fix this. It's not about stopping development. It's about developing smarter. The key to all of this is putting intelligent, forward-thinking land management strategies into practice. And here's what that actually looks like. First, we need sustainable agriculture. We also need to actively restore our forests, not just stop cutting them down. Third,
we need smart soil conservation methods. And fourth, intelligent land use planning to prevent that endless sprawl. And finally, and this one might just be the most important, we need education and cooperation at every single level.
This quote sums it up perfectly. This isn't a problem one person or even one country can solve alone. It demands a combined effort, from new government policies and local community action, all the way up to international agreements and cooperation. It takes all of us.
So that leaves us with this final thought. The amount of land we have, well, that's fixed. It's a non-negotiable fact of life on Earth. But our choices, how we manage it, how we value it, and the future we decide to build on it, those are infinite. The only question is, what will we choose?